You know what? I gotta hand it to the writer of The Promised Neverland real quick. The reason why is because even after finding out that there's some form of alien plant in this chapter that is definitely not natural, for instance, it's not what you would expect on Earth, we still can't peg this forest and this creature as something that's on an alien planet. And what I'm getting at is with the information we currently know about the world and all that, I've talked about this in the past, that there is a potential possibility our main cast of characters are not really on planet Earth anymore. They're on a different world or something, different dimension, whatever. We don't really know how The Promised Neverland is going to be. We don't know if it's going to turn into fantasy or whatever. We have no idea. We do know that there's future tech, so sci-fi is definitely going to be a part of this series. So there is potential possibility for maybe space travel or something. Who knows? Regardless, however, even after what we got in this, chapter with finding out about these alien bugs, like something that's completely different, or the, this plant that was able to consume animals, big creatures like dogs and stuff, or even kids, we now know that there's definitely things that are not natural. Stuff that's not normal at all. And so what you can really look at here is either say that the kids are on an alien world, or thanks to the demons coming to our world, they introduced species, plant life that was no longer like what we know on planet Earth. For instance, they can bring over plants and stuff, place them all around, and then they take root, and then basically the planet is changed forever. The ecosystem changes. And also, on top of that, we don't know how far into the future we really are. I mean, think about it like this, okay? The children have been in a farm all their life, and the books they were given, obviously, most likely the demons looked over them to make sure the children wouldn't find out something's off. So when you look at all of these little details, we can instantly assume that maybe the date's not even right either. It could be like, instead of like, let's say the 2000s, it could be like, 4,500 or something. We have no idea. So when you look at it like that, we don't even really know the date. And because when you look at all these little details throughout this chapter, if that plant life was introduced to Earth, okay, it came from the demons and all that, and they placed it there, that would mean that I highly doubt that would just grow in a month's time or even a year's time. It'd probably take a while for something to get that big, and so it possibly could have taken a long time, decades, maybe even centuries, depending on how old those things can get. So it could be many, many, many centuries past what they possibly think the date is, and that could explain why the overall land has changed around them and why it's nothing like they thought it was. So I really like the writer's direction he's taking this series. Even though we now know that there's going to be things that are not normal, for instance, plant life, creatures, whatever, that's not normal in our environment, we still don't know exactly if we're on a different world or on Earth, and even what date it is. So I do have to just take a moment to appreciate that. So getting off of that though, all of the kids so far are fine. They're not dead, which, as I've said many times, someone's gonna die. It's just a matter of time until kids start dying. It's just a matter of time. And the question is, who is going to die? Now, I don't know if the kids will die in this situation or not, or at least one of them. However, it's very bad, because right now, all of the kids have been led into a trap. A natural trap, according to our understanding. The entire forest is basically alive. It's this big plant that has roots covering the ground, and when it opens up to trap its prey in, it opens up a tunnel to where you can't see anything, and it just leads you down a path. And when you get to the certain path, it's basically like its nest, or where it mainly feeds at, and then it devours you. We see carcasses from, like, animals in the chapter, which shows like they are dehydrated. So most likely what the plant does is it straps you up or whatever, it like holds you down with its roots or vines or whatever, and then it sucks out the nutrients out of you. It completely just absorbs all the liquid and everything, and basically that's why you become just a carcass, just a husk, nothing inside, you're just completely dried out, and that's probably how it gets its water and stuff. So this right here is pretty damn crazy. It explains why there's no animals or anything around, is because this creature has constantly been feeding. Whatever it is, it's been dragging animals down and eating it. And it doesn't just stop there. We don't know if there's only one of these or if there is multiple, because the forest is pretty big. And we know that when they first walked in to the forest, we remember Ray, he stayed like, wait, did the forest just move? And so there is a possibility what he saw there most likely was the exact same thing, but maybe a different part of the plant. Like, there could be multiple plants. Like, you know, we have this big one going on right here in this chapter. There could be other ones scattered all around the forest. And so there could be smaller ones, bigger ones, and so we just don't know. We don't know how big these things can get, how they start off, how small they are, when they start off. We don't even know how they reproduce in terms of plant life. They could be like regular plants or something completely different. So when you look at all of these little details here, there's just so many variables that this can go, and it just shows that the environment is very difficult to overcome. It's not just overcoming the issue of food, overcoming the issue of water, shelter. It also comes down to the environment, not just the natural part of the environment. Like, our environment on Earth is pretty bad. If you're out in the wilderness and all that by yourself, no food or water, it's pretty bad. I mean, you could survive if you know your stuff, but it's still bad. And that is something you always need to face and worry about if you're going out in the wilderness or whatever. But this makes it much worse, because they are walking into territory they know nothing about. It's not just the fact that around every tree there could be a demon or something that they don't expect, but it also, there's life. Living life forms like animals and plants that want to eat your ass. So this is very interesting, because it turns out that this is going to become like an adventure manga, and I'm very excited about that. I was really happy when the writer decided not to do a time skip, because I wanted to see the kids struggle to survive. I wanted to see how they survive. That's what I really wanted to see. I didn't want to have, like, you know, they escape from the farm and then like a year time skip. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see them go from point A to point B. I wanted to see them travel from the prison and then eventually get to wherever they need to go. And maybe we might have a time skip. I have no idea. And I like this whole adventure going on, because from what the children found out, what they were reading from the book that was given to them from William, basically, that book has information on the world, and it was hidden from the demons. Obviously, it's a children's story. It's an adventure book. So the demons and the mothers, they wouldn't really realize that that's telling information about the world. It would just fly over their head. They would think it's just a regular adventure book. There's no harm in it at all. But in fact, that book is actually telling them what to expect in the world, what they are going to face. So this is going to be very fascinating, because most likely they're not going to be caught with their pants down as bad as they were in last week's chapter and this chapter, but it's still going to be bad, because that book might have a lot of information, but we don't know how dated the book is. For all we know, William could be dead. I mean, yes, the pen was dropped, but the person that was William, or whatever, could possibly already be dead, but someone's carrying on the legacy. And on top of that, too, we have to know, since we don't know what time it is, how many years have passed or whatever, many things could have happened. You know, things could have grown or changed. The environment could have changed. I mean, anything could change between point A or point B of time. So, because of that, there is going to be definitely some things that they don't expect, or probably not even written in the book. It's like Civilization. You have this big forest. You know, humanity, they need a place to live. Obviously, they'll start chopping down trees and stuff, and then they'll make a town right in the middle of where a forest used to be, in which the environment and ecosystem, it completely changes. So, with a couple of years' time, something could radically shift to where they don't really know what to expect. So whatever's written in the book, some of that stuff could be dated. It could be stuff that isn't even relevant anymore. Like, let's say there's a creature that, like, breathes fire or something, okay, that's up ahead. But when they look, you know, for some reason, it's filled with water. There's, like, nothing there. There's no fire or brimstone. It's filled with water, an ocean or something. Just the environment can change, floods or whatever. So I'm really excited, because there's just so much mystery. There's so much we don't really know what to expect from this series. Now, I'm really excited. I'm really happy that the writer is making this series. I'm glad I continue to read this weekly, because it's just so fun. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this chapter of The Promised Neverland? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Please be honest in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi.